Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 48 of the Cover 2 presented by Tigervision. I'm Patrick Neal with Grace Mann. As always, we are back in the studio. Episode 48, 2 away from episode 50, the big 5-0. If you have any ideas for what you want to see for episode 50, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Let any of us know on social media or whatever. Or maybe in person if you happen to see us, because we want to try and think of something to do, and we can use all the help we can get for that. So if you have any ideas for that, go ahead and let us know. But
make them funky.
Yeah, like you said, make them funky. Today we are going over coaching hires. We're grading coaching hires in the NFL. All the positions have been filled unless something crazy happens and someone gets fired out of the blue. Probably not going to happen. We're grading coaching hires, and then, we've done a draft or two. We're liking the idea. So we're going to draft free agency things we want to see happen, okay? So that can be draft, that can be trades, free agency signings, anything. We'll do that as well. But, Grayson, head coaching hires first.
All right, hit him with me. Let's go.
So where do we want to start? I guess we can. Where do we want to start? Let's go chronologically. So Frank Reich was the first one hired, I believe.
I think if he might have been the first domino to fall.
Yeah, I believe Frank Reich was the first one to get hired, if my memory serves me correctly. What's your grade for this move?
So Frank Reich, I never really felt like he got a fair shot with the Colts. He was dealing with a starting quarterback every single different season.
Yeah, a new starting quarterback.
When they had Andrew Luck, they were really efficient. I like what they did with Jonathan Taylor. All-time season under him. Made Phillip Rivers a playoff quarterback once again at his age.
At his old age.
I think I think you have to count in this grade is the aggressiveness with how they've gone after coaching staff. They have been willing to pay the big bucks for big-time assistants. Frank Reich gets an A for me. I think he's going to make the Panthers, especially in a weak division, could be a formidable force.
Yeah, I got him down as an A as well. I think the Panthers did a great job with this hire. I think you have to get some stability in after the whole Matt Rule experiment that just did not work out at all. But I really like what they've done with their coaching staff. Like you mentioned, you got Ejiro Evero, who was, Denver could have potentially just promoted him as the new head coach. I think that would have been a smart move, but he was a fantastic defensive coordinator there in Denver for a season. You've got Thomas Brown, I believe his name is, yes, Thomas Brown, who was an assistant for the Rams, the past few seasons on the offensive side of the ball, being the new offensive coordinator. I think he could do well there, and he's been in a system that's flourished offensively. So I think that's a good little hire. You got Josh McCown, who the Texans have been trying to hire for years now, supposedly.
Seriously.
As a head coach, you got him joining the staff. You got Deuce Staley and Van Jefferson's dad. I can't remember his name, but whoever the wide receivers coach for the Lions this past season.
Yeah, and the Panthers, they have a top pick where they could potentially get a quarterback. Whether that's to be, we don't know. They may follow this aggressiveness and go get Bryce Young. Maybe we'll see. But for now, I think the Panthers, if you're a Carolina fan, thumbs up. Yeah, be satisfied.
They have a decent roster as well.
They do.
They have a good defense. They have some offensive weapons. They have a good O-line. If they can just get that quarterback in, they're probably going young in the draft, but
maybe he can make Sam Darnold work. We never know.
Maybe
Sam Darnold whisperer.
He was up there in like EPA.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season, he's probably not the starter.
He wasn't bad.
But you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we both give Frank Reich an A. Good hire.
It's the cover 2 seal of approval.
Yeah. Next head coaching hire, I believe, was DeMeco Ryans. Him and Sean Payton were kind of both on the same.
Yeah, they're on the same timeline.
Yeah, but DeMeco Ryans, we'll go with him. What's your grade for him?
Give him a B+.
Okay.
The San Francisco 49ers roster was unbelievable, so it was pretty hard to mess up, but I think he's been there a while in that position. Earned a spot, really rose above the rankings. Houston's going to be a tough one. I figure Houston would go on the offensive side of the ball, especially since they were struggling. I was going to
say that as well.
But if Ryans can make the right hires within his staff, which we found is very important and a big crucial part of the grade, I think Ryans is a good culture guy, which Houston needs an overhaul in the worst way. They need to be able to have someone with stability because they've gone through David Culley and they've gone through Lovie Smith in the last 2 years. I think Ryans is a good fit, and he's a hometown hero as well.
Yeah, he must have gotten some sort of promise that he isn't going to get fired after a season.
I think they signed a 5-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because, I mean, like you said, David Culley, Lovie Smith, both defensive coaches, both fired after one season. So if you're D'Amico Ryans, you're maybe a little bit worried about that, but I got to think in the contract negotiations, he was like, look, I'm not getting fired after a season.
Yeah, the Texans are probably going to do too. They're going to draft a quarterback. That's probably,
yeah.
We'll assume they do. And they're going to struggle next year. That's not a secret.
Yeah,
but
they have a bottom tier roster.
They don't have a lot to work with in the beginning. So this offseason is very important for Ryans and that just building the culture. That's what you need to see.
I agree. I kind of just would have thought they would have gotten an offensive coach, like you said. I think it would have made a lot of sense, especially when you're dealing with potentially bringing in a rookie quarterback. Get someone like even Shane Steichen, who we'll talk about in a minute, who's developed quarterbacks.
Done a really good job of it too.
Yeah. Maybe you bring someone in like him has a little bit more experience with that. But D'Amico Ryans has led one of the top defenses these past few years. Even when he's had to deal with injuries like Nick Bosa.
Yeah, still found a way to produce.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna give him a B. You give him a B plus, pretty similar.
Yeah,
I think it was a good hire.
Good hire, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the jury's still out, but I think they'll be in a good spot. Just as long as they got to do some stuff with that roster because it's not looking great.
Yeah,
currently.
No.
But anyways, we'll talk about Sean Payton.
This might be the biggest headline hire in terms of
For sure.
If you're looking for pure clicks and pure news, he was in the discussion, I think, all season to potentially return, and that he was just taking this 1-year hiatus, see how the broadcasting side of things goes for him. I like this. The Broncos did give up a lot to get him, which could factor in. I see on the notes here, it factors into your grade, which you can explain in a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an A-.
Okay.
I'm not as hard on the draft picks because I think he's worth the price, especially with what he did with New Orleans offense. And Denver is in extreme need of a new identity offensively. And I think if there's going to be somebody to resurrect Russell Wilson from this little slump, I think it's got to be Sean Payton. This was a big-time hire for a team that has got a unbelievable roster, but that has never been able to get out of their own way.
Yeah. I don't know. I put down a B here.
Okay.
But I might move it to a B+. Sean Payton is definitely the most proven head coach out of all these guys.
That's right.
Definitely the most successful head coach out of all these guys. But you do have to take into account they gave up a first and I believe multiple seconds.
Yeah, they gave up a lot.
They gave up a lot. But if you can get a head coach in the door that's going to bring stability, that's going to bring a culture overhaul, really, because what Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson had together was not working. You saw multiple times throughout the season players were not respecting Russell Wilson. They were laughing at him. They were arguing with him. So if you can get Sean Payton, who, by the way, has had success with a shorter, older quarterback in Drew Brees, Russell Wilson's never been quite the pocket passer that Drew Brees has been, but Sean Payton can maybe get something out of that. And if you have to pay a first and a few extra picks to get that, it's definitely worth it. It's just you're kind of putting the pressure on to win now, and kind of flip this completely and kind of look more like what we thought it was going to look like before this past season.
I think the Broncos really only could have gotten Sean Payton. I feel like they had the roster, and they don't have really they couldn't hire a coach that you'd associate with a reset in terms of rebuilding, like a D'Amico Ryans or a Gannon or a Steichen. You're not bringing Sean Payton in to rebuild. You're bringing him to almost resurrect this identity of what Denver's supposed to be, a winning team, tough out. They bring in a guy like Sean Payton. I remember it was Broncos-Rams on Christmas Day, and there were players fighting on the sidelines. And that's when you knew it was that breaking point that this Nathaniel Hackett thing's not going to last, it's not going to work. We already knew that beforehand, but that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. You bring a guy like Payton, who's not going to deal with any of that. He's going to rejuvenate him.
He doesn't want Russ's boys in the building.
He does not.
He's stated that publicly. So complete culture flip, I think, and he's not going to let anybody push him around.
Yeah, and that might win some players over that probably weren't sold on Russell Wilson, saying, hey, this is going to be a team thing. Yeah. There's no more of the Russell Wilson antics, we'll say. But I like the hire. I think it'll be – I'm really interested to see how Denver plays.
It'll be good. Okay, next up, we have the two Eagles guys. Who you want to go with first?
Let's save the best for last, because I think we're going to have fun with one of them.
Okay, so we'll go with Shane Steichen then. Shane Steichen, new Colts head coach.
It's a good one.
I gave him an A.
I agree.
I like this hire. He's, the Colts have been looking for a quarterback ever since Andrew Luck retired, and to an extent, that's fair that they haven't, they've kind of used this as an excuse. Yeah. But at a certain point, Andrew Luck is in the past, and it's like having, like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend that, you just can't stop thinking about. Eventually, you got to get rid of them. You got to stop thinking about it and you got to move on. Mm-hmm. Because, look, Andrew Luck, fantastic quarterback, but they've just been trying to put a Band-Aid on an injury much larger than what a Band-Aid can fix for a long time. And that's been, through Jacoby Brissett, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Sam Ellinger.
Big list.
But you bring in Shane Steichen here, who has had success with Justin Herbert with the Chargers, and now Jalen Hurts, who is probably going to get big money in the offseason. A.J. Brown was talking about it today. You bring him into the building, and I think this means they're probably going to go QB in the draft.
Yeah, I think so.
You can't go get a Derek Carr after everything that's happened. You can't go get, Jimmy Garoppolo. I think you kind of got to start fresh, and you got to hope that whichever quarterback Shane Steichen kind of puts his name to in this draft, that it's going to work out.
It's probably going to be C.J. Stroud just because of where they are, and depending on if they make a move in the trade draft and they try to get Bryce Young. But I don't know. I think if anyone's going to do that, regardless, Steichen brings in the offense. He gets kind of a reset in that sense where they're not going to be bouncing from bridge quarterback to bridge quarterback in hopes that they can take the roster they have, which is very good, and make it into a championship. They got to start fresh with a new QB and just cleanse the palate.
It's good at a lot of low-value positions is the thing. Like, you've got a really good guard, Quentin Nelson, but the offensive line was not great last year, so you got to fix that. You got to find a new left tackle, I think. Mm-hmm. You have Michael Pittman, who is probably a wide receiver 2, if we're being honest. I don't know if he's quite a wide receiver 1 level, so you probably got to find another, ex-wide receiver. You got to find Darius Leonard's Darius Leonard. Shaq Leonard. Shaquille Leonard is what he's going by now. He's fantastic, but he's an off-ball linebacker. So you've got kind of this weird roster. You good?
Yeah. Had to cough a little bit.
Yeah, you got this weird roster kind of going on where it's good in some spots, but could be better in others. And I don't know.
Really constructed
roster. It's a weird roster, and I feel like they've kind of missed their window. Like they should have. I don't even know. They should have done something, I think, a few years ago, but maybe you kind of just start fresh with Shane Steichen. You give him a bit of a longer leash. I mean, Frank Reich had a long leash, to be fair. I don't know. It's just a tough spot if you're Indiana.
Yeah,
Indianapolis.
We'll see what they draft. We'll see how they feel about their roster.
I guess so. But Jonathan Gannon.
Well, that's gonna be fun.
Shoo. I'm giving Jonathan Gannon. I'm going to give him a C-, maybe even a D, just based off of vibes from social media, based off of Twitter videos I've seen.
So funny.
It's giving me really big Nathaniel Hackett vibes, just like
the goofball.
Yeah,
clueless.
Goofball. Isn't gonna like. I know nothing personally about Jonathan Gannon, but it seems like it's gonna end up just players are gonna walk right over him. Rondale Moore was looking at him when Jonathan Gannon was introducing himself. Just what are you doing? I mean, he's talking about he supposedly loves explosives. Maybe get this guy at one of the TNT fireworks stores that you see on the side of the highway. But he's talking about all these explosive and shots.
It's like shots, explosive.
With Rondale Moore introducing himself to Will Hernandez kind of weirdly.
He's like, Will Hernandez. Pat.
Yeah, he just keeps patting Will Hernandez on the
weird.
chest. It's a little bit weird. I'm just not getting the best vibes from him.
The reason I'm going to give them a C-.
Okay.
Purely because of the vibes that you get. But also, the Cardinals they should have gone offensive. This was the one team that needed to go offensive than any other. I know they just went offensive with Cliff Kingsbury, but I think if you had gotten somebody to really work with Kyler Murray again, it kind of reset it. I can see why they probably wanted to go defensive and just be like, hey, the last time we tried to do an offensive philosophy type thing, it didn't work out. I just felt like they missed the mark on this one, especially given how there's actually an interesting thing I saw earlier today is that with Matt Patricia in the Patriots, in 2018 when the Lions hired him, he gave up 41 points in the Super Bowl to Philly and then collapsed and burned. Gannon gets hired by the Cardinals in 23 after giving up 38 in the Super Bowl.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to have that bad taste in their mouth from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think he still coached, a really solid defense throughout this season.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last episode as well. But I don't quite think they had to go offensive because their defense has struggled a lot too.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of holes.
I think they could have gone either way. They do have their offensive coordinator is going to be Drew Petzing, if I'm pronouncing that right, who was the Cleveland Browns quarterbacks coach. I guess, I don't know. Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield, Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson was not good when he played this year, honestly. Yeah. So I don't really know. I don't know much about Petzing, honestly. But this is the least uninspiring head coaching hire, I think, of this offseason.
Looks like Burr from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, and it seems like that's consensus, I think, around
your punishment,
NFL,
Burr, is
NFL
to be the head
Twitter.
coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
You get to go coach Kyler Murray.
Oh, jeez.
And deal with Kyler Murray. But, who really knows? I feel like Kyler kind of gets a bad rap at times.
He does.
That probably isn't completely true.
Yeah.
So, maybe this turns into a beautiful, beautiful head coach quarterback relationship.
Maybe.
But do they keep DeAndre Hopkins?
No.
Maybe this is our next segment too. But.
Yeah. We'll see. I will not give my answer.
Okay. All right. And with that, we're going to transition to off-season, free agency, trade, draft.
Oh, I did the wrong theme. Dang it. What is it? Da 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 da.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, we'll go 4 each, like we've done before. Well, I guess dodgeball we did 5, right?
Yeah. Let's do 4.
We'll do 4 for time's sake.
For Zachary and Connor's sake.
We'll snake it. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I think we got to do the old rock paper scissors move.
Okay.
Ready? Rock paper scissors shoot.
Da. Right. I win.
Okay.
I guess I'll go first then.
Yeah. You go first.
So let me pull up my little notes app here. I wanted to get some thoughts down without you looking at them, so you can't steal them.
I'm trying to peek.
My first pick. Look, I would love for Desmond Ridder to be the best quarterback ever in Atlanta.
That narrative will forever live on.
Look, it's gonna live on. But if we're talking about dream moves here.
Okay, dream moves.
Being from the Metro Atlanta area. If I could see Lamar Jackson go to Atlanta, would be fantastic. Just would be fantastic. I mean, this has been talked about a lot. I know we've talked about this before, but Lamar Jackson, if he got to go to Atlanta, if Desmond Ridder, move him to like Tennessee where he can start and become a successful quarterback.
Because
my narrative
doesn't matter where he goes
alive.
as long as he's successful.
Yeah, exactly. But if Lamar goes to Atlanta, I think you got to play solely in the Dirty Birds, like 90s uniforms.
Oh my gosh, the black uniforms.
Yeah. Just get rid of the like.
They're so tough.
The not tie dye, but like fades from red to black. Get rid of those.
Those are
ugly. Just solely Dirty Birds uniforms. Fantastic vibes in Atlanta.
Dude, he could be Last year, I remember watching the Deshaun Watson movement like a hawk, and the Falcons were to my
Weirdly
knowledge,
in it.
they were going to get him
Yeah.
until Cleveland out of nowhere swooped in and took the deal. I could see this thing with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens flying south, and Atlanta just swoops in.
Nice, that was
See
good.
what I did?
Oh, you're doing
See
it
what I
again.
did?
Swoops in. I love that.
Ooh. See what I do?
Yeah.
I just make
this
magic.
is good. This is good. Keep going.
I don't know. It has come naturally because now I'm going to start thinking about it. But Lamar and the Ravens, their contract talks, they sour, and Atlanta pretty much should replicate what they did with Deshaun. Atlanta, hometown hero. You could be the next Michael Vick. That even more applies to Lamar Jackson and his play. Say, hey, let's come make it happen.
Yeah.
For the A.
Yeah, for the A, for the 404.
My brother and brother-in-law would be very happy.
Honestly,
I would go to a game.
I'd have to go watch a game for sure.
I would go.
Yeah, you know, just solely Dirty Birds uniforms. I think gotta keep that.
Their
You
stadium
get
is sick.
Kyle Pitts in like the Mark Andrews role. You have Tyler Algier, who was a pretty solid rookie running back. You got a good offensive line.
Drake London's a nice surprise.
Drake London, probably would that be the best receiver he's
Probably
played
ever
with?
played with. I mean,
Him or Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman can't stay healthy though.
it's a fair argument.
Arthur Smith would have to find out how to use Drake London, but
And the Falcons' offense
besides
would
the
fit
point.
Lamar so perfectly.
yeah, it'd be awesome. Okay, yeah.
Dream
There we
scenario.
go. That's my first pick.
Okay.
You go ahead and give us your first one.
I think there's a reason why sometimes we lose our way. It's because we miss our friends. You have a best friend, Patrick? Like one that you really, like when you see him, it just brings the best out of you.
I think I know where this is going.
Like sometimes when I need a time to just get away, I think who is always there for me when I need him? Maybe in the end zone, it's second and goal. I have a play in mind. You got friends. I got them too. He's going to see those troubles through. Aaron Rodgers is going to be gambling in Las Vegas with his buddy Devontae Adams in a blockbuster trade that sends Aaron Rodgers to the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's going to be a wild, wild AFC West.
Okay. That's interesting. I like the idea. Honestly, I thought you were making a joke about Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins when you were talking about that.
No, that's not happening.
Like I thought you were being a little sarcastic there, but
No.
not a bad move. The only thing is, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if you want to go play in the AFC West if you're him.
Yeah, but
You got to face Mahomes twice a year. You got to face Herbert twice a year. You got to face now Sean Payton twice a year. But you do get Devontae Adams back.
you get Devontae, you get actually really solid. You get Waller, Renfro, and all
They're
all
both kind of
year.
aging though. Is the
All
only thing.
year. Rodgers not going to play very long too.
That's true.
The thing was Rodgers had to pretty much be the Packers wide receiver room teacher all year. And if he can come in and just say, hey, this is what I expect, and they do it, he's kind of a guy that he's not really wanting to sit around and be a teacher. I think he could really work within McDaniel's offense. This is partially because I don't want him to go to the Jets. So send him to the West.
Okay.
Send
Yeah,
him
that's
far
fair.
away.
I actually had Aaron Rodgers written down, but I had him written down, hear me out, the Panthers.
Okay, I
So-
really want to hear this.
Yeah, this isn't going to be my pick, so I'll go over it quickly. But, you stay in the NFC where it's a little bit weaker, quarterback-wise. They have a good roster already. They have DJ Moore, solid receiver. They have Terrace Marshall, who's, been all right. They have an okay offensive line. Like we talked about, they have Frank Reich, who's a solid head coach as well, and they have a good coaching staff. They could give up, I don't even know, probably, their first this year, maybe a first next year. I don't know what it would be. But they have the roster in place that I think could cultivate Aaron Rodgers. And,
Maybe so.
And I think they'd instantly become one of the favorites. It's, for sure the favorite in the NFC South. One of the favorites in the NFC, I think.
Well, if your dream Lamar scenario goes down, that'd be a fun matchup
That's
twice
true.
a year.
That would be
That'd
awesome.
be so fun.
Just rebuild the NFC South like that.
I'd have to go to games in Carolina and Atlanta because I would be so excited to see both happen.
All right, next pick, Grayson.
Okay, this is going to be a Patriots one because I had to slip one in there.
You got to slip one in.
And so there's a first round pick,
Okay.
former first round pick that's been really flying around in trade rumors. And, I don't really think I see it. But I think that we're all looking in the wrong direction. To quote Brian Windhorst, why? Patriots have a glaring issue in another place, and it's at left tackle.
Okay.
Trent Brown is no longer the answer. The Patriots in 2 years ago They made a big splash.
Yep.
They're going to do it again. They're going to get Mike McGlinchey,
the
49ers left tackle, to go protect Mac Jones. That would be a move that I would love to see, and then they can build receiver in the draft.
Is he their left or right tackle? Because isn't Trent Williams their left tackle?
He's a right tackle, but we need tackles regardless.
Yeah.
We need
Doesn't
tackles.
matter. You can probably flip him.
Yeah.
But I like it. Good move. Protect
It's a Belichick
Bailey Zappi. Protect Mac Jones.
Mac
protect
Jones.
Brian Hoyer even.
Mac Jones. We're not doing this.
Cole Strange. Solid.
Yeah, Cole Strange was a solid pick. David Andrews still really good.
Still kicking around the league.
Yeah. You got a solid line.
Yeah.
It just needs to be a little more fortified, and I don't think receiver is necessarily the premium move we need to take.
I like it. My next pick.
Okay.
There's a few I could go with here. I'm gonna go with. Let's go speed wide receiver to the Chargers. I'm going to go specifically, I was trying to think of one that was already in the league, but I'm going to go rookie receiver. Jalen Hyatt goes to the Chargers. So,
okay.
Keenan Allen might be getting released, honestly.
He's probably a cap casualty.
Yeah, he's probably getting released. So they definitely need a wide receiver because you can't go in to the season with Mike Williams, who's unfortunately always hurt, and Jalen Guyton, Josh Palmer, who's showed some promise, but that can't be your wide receiver room. The Chargers have been lacking speed forever, seemingly. I mean, Keenan Allen, not the fastest guy. Mike Williams, great contested catch guy, but isn't going to separate, speed-wise. If you can get Jalen Hyatt, just, send him down the field, he'll be able to burn guys. He was fantastic at Tennessee this year. I think that'd just be a great combo. Get Justin Herbert some speed.
Yeah. I like that. I really do. I'm going to throw one at you now that could be really fun.
Okay.
It kind of got tossed around a lot this year, but we never really saw it come to fruition. I'd like to see everyone's favorite person to ride with on a plane, Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh.
I want to see him in Dallas.
Okay.
I think you finally have this season of doubt of, is he going to be healthy or not? That could be a really nice addition for Dallas, who's now their pure mission to avenge that title back from Philly. Give Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, T.Y. Hilton, and Odell Beckham Jr. That could be fun.
Okay.
That could be fun to watch. I think Odell Beckham will be signed this offseason. It's just a matter of who.
Yeah, he'll definitely go somewhere. I mean, he should be fine now. Is that your third pick?
It is my third pick. Yeah, so it'd be...
so you got 3 now. I got 2.
Yeah.
I'll go again.
I think you were supposed to go again.
It's okay. We improvise on the show.
We're not very good at snake drafts.
Just like Bear Grylls. I like the Odell pick.
Yes.
I mean, he was linked with the Cowboys all season.
Yes.
It never happened, but I like it. I'm just wondering if he still has, the juice that he had pre-injury.
Yeah, that's the thing, but he could also be a number 2 receiver and be just as effective.
They definitely do need a number 2, like a consistent number 2.
A true one.
Yeah. You can't have, I don't know if Noah Brown's a true number 2. I don't know if Michael Gallup's a true number 2. Let's go with, so I don't know how likely this is to happen because everybody on the Rams decided not to retire. But Jalen Ramsey goes to the Vikings. Again, this would be a little weird because of the cap thing.
I do like this.
I'm just gonna pretend that the cap gets figured out, everything gets figured out.
Okay.
The Vikings need some serious help in the secondary.
Yeah.
You got Harrison Smith who's aging. You had to play a few late round guys at corner. Andrew Booth was kind of in and out. Patrick Peterson's getting older. If you get Jalen Ramsey, I know he didn't have the best of seasons this past year, but the Rams in general, it's just not great vibes. He had a lot of injuries. But Jalen Ramsey, move him to the Vikings. You kind of got to go for it now. I think they would have an out with him the next year. So if you want to get rid of him, if it doesn't work out, it can happen. Kirk Cousins, you're probably moving on from him after this year.
Probably so.
You got Justin Jefferson before his probably before his big contract kicks in. Although he could be getting paid this offseason, and then you end up paying him. But kind of just one last big run, I think.
Yeah.
Before you kind of have to move on to the next phase. See what happens. Get Jalen Ramsey in the building. One of the best corners still in the league.
Okay, I'm going to do a big apple move. Saquon Barkley will not be a Giant next year.
I had him on my list. I had him to a few different teams.
I have 2 destinations for him. One, I would be terrified, but I think makes the most sense. And the other one, I would love to see.
Okay, so the Bills is one.
The Bills makes almost too much sense.
Yeah,
they need a running back. That would be extremely helpful within their passing attack. Takes a little bit of attention away from Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
And you pair up that physical monster with the physical monster that is Josh Allen.
Yep.
But let me throw a wild card at you.
Okay.
Why can't the Jacksonville Jaguars not form a running back duo?
Oh, okay. You got to explain this one to me a little bit.
Okay, this one has been brewing in my mind, but you know how they tried to make it work with Travis Etienne and James Robinson?
Yeah.
It kind of didn't work out because Etienne was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in this age of running backs, if you can get Saquon for the right price, you're not paying Etienne much for the next couple years. You bring in a guy like Saquon who doesn't have to take as many reps, especially given the health situation, because he's never been really healthy in his career. He could really split reps with Etienne, and they could be a monster.
That could happen, although that was Urban Meyer's idea.
It was Urban's idea, but this is my idea. And this is also just dreams. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure how cheap you're going to be able to get Saquon for one.
Yeah.
I mean, he could maybe, I don't know what he personally thinks, but he could potentially take a cut if he thinks like, this can be a championship contender.
The Jags could be that destination.
I do like it. I don't think they have unlimited cap space.
Yeah.
And they're already getting Calvin Ridley, so it could be, they should have a good wide receiving core.
Yeah.
They got Jamal Agnew, who can kind of play Pro Bowler Jamal Agnew.
Pro Bowler.
Who can play kind of anywhere. You got to resign Evan Ingram. I had
Where'd you have him? I think the Bills make the most sense.
The Bills make a lot of sense. I had them written down. I had the Eagles potentially. I don't think they would spend money on a running back.
No.
But that'd be kind of fun with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. But I had another spot, just pure fun-wise, Saquon Barkley in Chicago with Justin Fields.
That would be fun too.
Like just put them in the backfield together. Khalil Herbert's almost kind of like a mini, like compact version of Saquon Barkley, just like body build wise.
Yeah.
So if you get Saquon Barkley in the backfield, just completely lean into the run, would be fantastic to watch.
Yeah,
I gotta think they have the most cap space in the NFL. Could happen.
Could.
Probably not.
My dream place would be to see Trevor and Saquon pair up.
It would be fun to see that happen too.
They were college's best players when I was in high school.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah. So this is my fourth pick.
It's your fourth and final pick.
Ben DiNucci to the Commanders.
Yes.
No, I'm playing. He did have a fantastic throw though. If you were watching the XFL,
Mahomes-esque kind of leap.
Flipped it. Get him with Eric Bieniemy. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that'd be so sick.
All right, I'm gonna go. You mentioned the Jags. I'm gonna say they move their money to the defensive side of the ball and get Levante David into the building. Because
Panhandle gets larger. Folks.
Because Tampa Bay might be a selling team, probably should be a selling team if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Kyle Trask. Maybe they try and tank, keep their assets,
You're like,
and try and get Caleb Williams or Drake
Trask.
May or something. But you get. You have Foye Oluokun, who was a solid linebacker. You had Devin Lloyd, who drafted and was solid at the start of the year, but then he kind of fell off towards the end.
Right.
So if you can get another linebacker in, that's great in coverage. And Levante David is one of the best linebackers in the NFL, despite him being a little bit older. It's kind of like the Jalen Ramsey situation.
Yeah.
You try and go for it now while Trevor's on a rookie contract before you have to pay him big money. You have the weapons in place on offense. You have a solid offensive line. You have pieces on defense that if you get a few more, if you build that up a little bit more, it can be a very, very good, very solid unit. You have like Tyson Campbell at corner. You have Trayvon Walker, former #1 pick on the defensive line. You got Josh Allen. You got Doug Peterson, who's a great head coach. I think if you get Levante David in there,
pretty solid. We got a lot of dreams for Trevor's Jags.
Yeah, I mean, had to get some in there. But,
Had to.
Yeah, that was actually all I wrote down. So worked out good because I didn't have any other ideas after that.
Well, I'm glad I didn't take it.
So I'd have to think on the spot. But good work.
It's all up here. Good work.
Yeah.
Respect.
So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of The Cover 2. I'm trying to think of anything else. No. This is the end of episode 48, the cover 2. We want to thank our producers in the back.
The GOATs. Truly.
As always, doing a great job. But, yeah, thanks, Zach and Connor. Thank you for listening. This isn't a great outro, but go ahead and let us know what you want to see for episode 50, the big 5-0 special. Wherever you're watching this, let us know. Click button, subscribe, comment, like,
if you
follow.
I've said this for 2 straight weeks now, but if there's a comment on an episode that is literally all the letters on your keyboard, I will know you indeed hit all the buttons and be very happy.
Yeah, but at this point, basically just rambling. The episode's going to end here. See you later. Have a good one. Adios.